Hey y'all, how y'all doing? I hope all is well. I hope everything is going well, and if it's not, it's going to get better. So today I'm going to be talking to you about what to expect when your locks finish budding or stop budding. So number one, keep this in mind because this is really important. Your locks are going to stop budding at different times, and if you don't know what budding is, budding is when your locks have these little pregnant bellies. They're like little pregnant bellies that form among your locks. And so your locks are going to look different. And they're also going to look a lot thicker, or some people like to say, because they don't know anything about the budding process, fluffier in the process, but they just look thicker just because the buds are coming and your hair is forming into a lock. That's the really exciting part about the locking process, and we jump for joy and get really excited about that because we're like, look, my locks are doing their thing. They're on the right track, X, Y, and Z, right? But then, there is the other part. There is when they stop budding. So how do you know your locks are going to stop budding? So like, a lot of my locks are the size that they're going to be, and they're the size that they're going to be now because they don't look like super thick like how they did in bulgy. They look just like the size. They swell to the size of the part, which is in another video I talked about lock sizes. Like, how do you know what size your locks are going to be? Basically, your locks swell to the size of the part. When they get finished budding, they swell to the size of the part. So those locks back there look like that. They're down, so I'm going to use those as an example. So keep in mind they don't all finish budding, or bud at the same time. And they don't do that because it's just a process with your hair. Some parts of your hair are going to lock faster than others. Some parts are going to lock slower. So keep that in mind, right? So in the process of, your hair budding and doing its thing, when it stops, your hair is going to be in formation of really looking like it's locks, not as fluffy. For people that don't know about the budding process, they'll say, oh, it looks fluffy. It's because they don't know a lot about the budding process. But they'll look thicker. They won't look as bulged out. You won't see those little pregnant bellies through when your locks. That stuff will be going, and it'll really start to look more like the formation of a lock with what you would get as time progresses and goes on. Now, keep this in mind too. Just because your hair is done budding in a lot of spots doesn't mean that your hair is fully finished with locking, because it still may have a way to go depending on which way you decided to do your locks. So that could be you decided to do two-strand twists, or comb coils, or whatever you decided to do. So just because your locks finish budding in certain spots doesn't mean that your locks are fully mature. They're going to have some time to go before they look fully mature. So on the camera and naked eye to somebody, if they're not up on your head doing your hair, it's going to look like your hair is fully locked, but you will know that your hair is not finished fully locking, because you'll still have a lot of, if you did a two-strand twist, that pattern will still be in your locks. And you may have some locks that didn't finish budding yet. They're still in the process of budding and getting through the process. I have a few at the top that are in the bun that they don't have the bulge as much. They're starting to form and swell to the size of the part. But, you can't see that obviously because it's in a bun. So keep that in mind. And if people are like, oh, your hair is fully locked, I usually explain it. I'm like, no, I got a few that are still going through the process. Y'all just can't see it. Maybe I will do a close-up one day to show y'all exactly what I'm talking about before I style it. That might be a video that I'll do for y'all soon, just so that y'all can see and understand. Some of my locks still have buds. Some of them, are not fully finished locking. So you have to keep that stuff in mind. Also, when your hair fully finishes budding, like I said, you get that formation of the lock. It's really going to look more mature in the process, and it really just has found its shape and its way, and it's going to start looking more like the way it should look. Now, sizing is going to be different for your locks once they're done budding, because yes, they're going to be very thick when they are budding, a lot thicker, because they have that little pregnant bulge on the outside. But it's a lot of other factors of what your locks will look like. So if you have very thick hair and you did larger parts, your locks even though they're done budding, they're still going to look a lot thicker than someone else's locks that may have done smaller parts. And you also have to keep in mind that, you might still have little little lumps and bumps in your locks, and there's not nothing wrong with it. Your locks are just a little unique. I have a few locks like that. I haven't shown y'all a close-up of my locks. They have the little lumps and bumps, so when I do a new video again, I will show y'all everything. But that's pretty much what is happening with the locking process when your hair finishes budding. When your hair fully matures, you're not going to have any budding left. Your lock is just going to form, and B, you may have some lumps and bumps because your hair might have just decided to do that. But that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your locks. That's just what your hair has done, and I really think it's unique because you don't necessarily have the cylinder shape. And when I say lumps and bumps, I don't mean budding. I mean like your locks just have some character. Again, when I wear my hair down again and do a video, I show it to y'all. So, you know, it will be also more full and filled in. So like your locks are not going to be as soft. So you may have locks that you're like, oh, I have flat locks, and it might just be that your locks need to fill in more and it's not done budding and things like that. So your locks are going to be more filled in. They're going to look more like the formation of what they should look like. They're going to swell to the parts. And then also the budding will be gone. The little pregnant bellies will be gone. But depending on your hair, you may have little lumps and bumps. And that is okay because you didn't do anything wrong. It's just giving your hair character. I know for me, because I did 2-strand twists, some of mine have little like lumps on them, but I don't mind. I wish all my locks would have done it, but only some did it. So it was what it was. But pretty much that's how you'll know your hair is fully locked because, you know, of course, the bottoms will be closed up. The budding will be on. Your hair will be to the size that it's going to be for an actual physical lock for your parts. And it will be more filled in. Another thing is that if you had a 2-strand twist or, you know, you tried a different method that leaves the lines, those will be fully gone too. Like a lot of my lines are like fully gone, but in some spots I still have like the 2-strand twist part, 2-strand twist pattern, which stays in certain parts at certain times. So that's pretty much it. I hope this video helped y'all, and, you know, share it with someone that, you know, may be starting the lock journey or they don't know when their hair is going to stop budding, because you don't know, again, when it's going to stop budding. Like the locks, again, at the top of my head, they've been budding for some time and it's still not finished budding, but it is almost done budding because it's starting to form to the size of what a regular lock would look like. So keep that stuff in mind. Keep everything I said in mind. Again, share this with someone that you feel like it would benefit, that's either starting the lock journey or has questions about that and wants to know, because I know we talk a lot about your hair budding, and that is the exciting part about the locking process, because you know your hair is doing its thing. But now we want to talk about, you know, what happens after budding, which is just as cool, just as fun, and that's how you know you're a little bit further along and your locks are maturing. So I hope this helped y'all, and I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.